Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Starstruck, where we record and speak on Stargirl. My name is Cleve,
I'm Michael.
This is Stephanie.
and episode 4
Quattro.
has come and gone. We'll open the floor to you two and see what your thoughts are, because you know your boy's got notes.
I have a couple notes.
Good. It's not just me. I like that. Let's hear it.
This one felt more like a family show than any other one has
Okay.
to me. Mainly because it's the don't send naughty pictures of yourself to people, because that doesn't go well.
Sometimes it goes well.
Not
in her
debatable.
case.
So here we are introduced to, well, not necessarily introduced, but we finally get to know more about the girl, which I cannot remember her name right now.
Yolanda Montez.
Thank you. Yolanda, who becomes Wildcat. I think she played a good Wildcat.
Yeah, it was fun to watch them kind of interact together.
I like that she's a boxer.
Yeah. I think that maybe my problem with the direction that it's going is I see Stargirl as far away from a leader as possible.
Yes.
Like she's
not qualified to be a leader at all.
She was very not good at it at all. And in fact, Yolanda realizes that, and she's like, how long were you trained for? Like, how long did this go for you? And she's like, yeah, no, I didn't really. And she's like, why am I listening to you?
I think that her redeemable quality is going to be the magnetism and her ability to
bring people together,
shake people up. Yeah, like kind of get them out of their funk and get them together. But I agree that I don't think she'll be a good leader. I think that either our Alex-ish character, which I can't remember her name either, the girl with the glasses.
Beth.
Alex
that was my note. I wrote Beth in capital letters with an exclamation point, and I was like, why did I write that? That's her name, is Beth.
Beth, okay. Yes, either Beth
I was so
or
happy because I've talked about this girl every episode.
Would make good leaders, and like we've said before, we've kind of seen images of Beth as Dr. Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other note that I had that's kind of, I don't know, maybe a spoiler or maybe just an Easter egg to get excited about. So she played with a pink pen, which we talked about last week, which is the genie is inside that I believe Thunderbolt used. Is that what his name was? Crap. I had it written down.
Stephanie, while he looks that up, speak.
It was probably one of the first episodes where I was like, okay, now I'm really actually looking forward to next week to see who gets to play what character, because it's getting to know more of the characters than just Stargirl.
Yeah, it's the first episode that I was like, hey, look at this character development.
Yeah.
I learned more about Yolanda Montez in one episode than I did 3 episodes of Courtney.
Yeah, I really felt... Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, I was like, I know more about this girl than I know about Courtney. And she seems like she's better suited for this than Stargirl, who just kind of accidentally stumbled into it and is possibly going to make mistakes like shutting down the electricity of a hospital.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Also, why is it so easy to do that?
Right. I like that the staff was like, hey, that's not a good idea.
Shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what's the problem? I'm just going to skip on over to the switch.
I think it would have been interesting had she done it. No, so what I was trying to say before, real quick, was, it is Thunderbolt from the JSA, uses the pink pen. Well, the friend that her little brother, who I am growing to hate more and more, literally every episode.
He wasn't in this one as much, though.
Mike,
I enjoyed that.
Still hate him. His dad made a great breakfast for him. He's like, I want goddamn Pop-Tarts. And he's like, the sugar's going to kill you, kid. Stop eating it. And then he goes to the other parent, was like, do you got Pop-Tarts? And the mom's like, of course I got Pop-Tarts, because she wasn't paying attention to anything going on. She's becoming a worse mother as well.
She's going to become an evil villain.
She's getting distracted. She's getting pulled into that other world.
She didn't just walk into the room.
But there was freshly made breakfast. You know how pissed I would be if I made breakfast downstairs and Jameson came in and was like, I want Pop-Tarts. And Kay's like, here's a Pop-Tart. I'd karate chop shit. But anyway, the friend that he invites over, his name is Rakim, and that is a point to Rakim, or Jakim, sorry, not Rakim, Jakim, and that is a Easter egg for Jakeem Williams, who ends up becoming Thunderbolt or Jakeem Thunder in the newer JSA. So potentially we also now know who will be taking the Thunderbolt helm.
Yeah,
So that was
maybe.
interesting.
I like that we start with. I really like just how this episode was told, because you got to see her 3 months ago when her life was so happy, and the huge family support that she got, and that was really cute. And her brother's wearing a shirt that says to vote for Yolanda, to being just the saddest house I've ever seen in my life.
It really sucked.
Yeah,
So,
I really felt bad for her.
I don't understand. Is it just? I mean, maybe it's just that culture that you stay that disappointed. Like 3 months. Like I thought, like when she made that speech of like, you need to be on my side because you're my family. That they'd be like, oh, you're right.
I thought our grandma was at least going to come around.
Let me ask, as the one of us that has a daughter, I can imagine that it's not something that you would get over super quickly.
I'd be disappointed, but I feel like I'd jump in more into a supportive role instead of you got to imagine that that's devastating to her more than anything.
I think that's where my line is drawn. Like, once you realize the entire school has turned on her, maybe back her up a little bit.
Right.
Maybe
Maybe
I'm
take her
still
phone
mad at
away from her and have a conversation about why that wasn't acceptable. But I don't know. That's the most important time to support your kid is when they're going through something like that.
Right.
Right. She made a mistake, an easy mistake that most kids could probably make these days because they're all attached to their phones. But, man, you just shut her on the cold.
We get introduced to the biggest villain in Blue Valley, and that is that old
Dr. Ito?
No, that's that old looking girl that sent that picture out. She looks like 25, first off.
Oh, yeah.
And
I thought you were talking about Dr. Ito. He's terrifying.
No, man. Hold on. No. She's terrifying, he's terrifying, but this girl took an explicit photo of another student and sent it. First of all, okay, one, how did you get it? Because she had the phone for like a second.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe that's one of her powers.
I guess. And two.
Oh, you think she's like an actual villain?
I think she's being trained.
Is she not?
Oh, someone did say something about him training his daughter, huh? It was Dr. Ito.
Yeah, I
he was training his daughter.
It was, her that he was referring to.
You watch this episode with this girl and you tell me that she's not a villain. Powers or no powers.
I think she's a shitty high schooler. There's lots of them. I think that, you know what? Now that you said that, Stephanie, I think that it's going to be a misdirect. I think that they're going to make it seem like that, but it won't end up being.
I honestly feel like what that girl did is worth a murder sentence. Like, I get it.
No, it's super shitty.
If Yolanda was like in a juvenile detention until she was 18 for murdering this girl, I'd be like, I mean, maybe we can get her parole, so a lighter sentence. It's understandable.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, well, and also the power she had over everybody for whatever reason, because Yolanda bumped into that kid and she's like, "What'd you say to my boyfriend?"
Well, that was Yolanda's ex-boyfriend.
Right.
I mean, that was her boyfriend she sent the photo to.
I have to imagine that he played some part in it, though.
I don't know, because he looked really disappointed that happened, and I almost felt bad that he was getting the shit for it, because at one moment, Yolanda tries to murder him.
She thought about it.
Well, the only thing that stopped him is that he physically said something without her knowing. Otherwise, she would have murdered him.
But you know what? If he was so innocent, why would he have broken up with her and gone started dating the other girl?
Maybe the other girl has, I don't know what her name is. Maybe she has something over him. And maybe that's how she got the photo. Like, because his dad is Brainwave, and if her dad is some extra evil guy.
Yeah, I'm excited about Dr. Ito. I don't know anything about him as a villain.
He looked like a lizard.
Like a snake of some sort, because he had the snake on his face.
Well, and his eyes, I don't know if you saw the way
they went sideways. Yeah.
I feel like the most things happened in this episode. There was character development. There was story development.
Lots of development. She definitely tried to turn down the... here's the thing. If anything, Stargirl is only going to win all these people over because she's pushy as shit. The girl was like, hey, like I've got to work on myself, make myself better. I've got to, grow as a person. So I really can't do this right now. Like, I'm sorry. Then she comes back to her house and there's the fucking outfit just sitting there like, hey, I really need you though.
Let's talk about that note for a
That's
second.
mentally abusive.
Because that's the last one of my notes that I wrote down. How much better could that note have been? Because it could have been like, hey, I want you to have this for when you're ready. Or,
Right.
hey, you'll always be my wildcat. And instead it says like, hey, I need your help. Like, I can't do it by myself.
Selfish.
I can't do it by myself. Can you get your shit together so that I can...
It could have said something along the lines of, whenever you're feeling like you're ready.
Right.
And then like a little picture of a cat and then the star. I get that. Fine. Done.
But it was the worst note ever.
Yeah, right.
Also,
no, I'm telling you, it's mental abuse, man.
For me, there was too many similarities between the text that she got from her boyfriend pushing her to send the little photo, and also the way that Stargirl treats her and saying like, no, you're going to be Wildcat. Come on, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
I was like, I don't like the similarities. This girl's falling down a pattern.
She brought her to their house and, hey, put this on now. Oh,
did anybody think that she was just going to stop at the bra? Like, that, I think at that age would have been just fine. But she went that extra mile.
I assume she did stop at the bra. Did she?
And that's not what it seemed. It implied there was a little more.
You must have looked away because she takes off her shirt and that's her bra, and then she takes the bra off.
Yeah, I didn't see that one part.
Yeah. Villain girl. When she was fighting with Courtney and they were like face to face, I would have headbutt that girl immediately. That'd have been my first point of contact. Should have been like, you don't know what I can do. I don't want bam right the top of my forehead right to her nose.
But see, that's why it's good that she's got Wildcat on her side now, because Wildcat is trained in boxing and actually fighting, and Stargirl is a gymnast.
Yeah. And, Yolanda seems to have some sort of logic behind her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited. I have to assume now, so the algorithm is what? Next week's going to be Dr. Midnight, because she saw them and recognized Yolanda somehow?
Yeah.
It's even more impressive.
Not somehow. Stargirl says come on, Yolanda, let's go.
Oh, I just assumed she didn't say it that loudly. No, somehow we said it loudly enough for her to have heard 7 stories down.
Well, I mean, and then she goes
screaming it.
She goes,
thanks, Echo.
Yolanda, like confused, because it wasn't like she had binoculars. No, Stargirl with her loud mouth yelled her name out.
I just assumed she looked up and saw like a similar body type and was like, "Yep, that's Yolanda."
Because she didn't learn her lesson.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Costume.
Michael, if I saw a man with your body type climbing a wall, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, is that Michael?" No,
you absolutely should be. If you just saw, hold on, let me. Well, people at home can't see, but if I turn around,
I'm gonna cut all this part out.
Going up, it's rude.
No, I'd be like, there's some massive man climbing a wall. That's impressive.
You'd get home and tell me about it and be like, wait a minute. Huh?
I assume that's the route I would go. I would go, hey, were you climbing a wall yesterday?
So, yeah, I assume that we're going to meet Beth next week. That'll be the...
Hold on, we've met her plenty.
I just mean kind of go more into her, like why she is the way she is, why her dad's always on the road, why her mom's such a bitch, those types of things.
I kind of assume they're not together. Her parents?
I think they're together. I think they're both villains.
I don't know.
Or like he's a villain, and so he's going to be on the road all the time. How many more villains do we have? Is he Solomon Grundy?
No,
he's just sitting in a cage somewhere.
He was on that video chat in episode
that's right.
1 or 2.
I mean, I think the whole town is in on it because the wife to
we didn't even talk about
wizard.
That.
Yeah. Which is like, don't trust this town.
Yeah, but also the fact that she's dead.
Oh yeah, that too.
Like, shit. Like, that happened. Well, I guess she's not technically, we don't know if she's dead, but her car was destroyed.
I mean.
And her cat is there.
She's the last family member. She's dead.
Do you test out your first power when you say, oh, I can cut through metal? Is the first thing you think is grab this really nice-ass toaster?
Yeah, not like, let's go to a street sign or something.
Right.
Or maybe go get the broken microwave or whatever in the basement. Because that's there. We made a big deal about putting that broken microwave in the basement for no reason.
But you know
That
what?
broke for toasting marshmallows.
I enjoyed the new power scene. I enjoyed that. I also wrote down slut shaming will make you jump off a building.
Yeah, that was a sad moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought, here's how bad Stargirl is as a character. When she was like, I'm not going to jump off. And Stargirl was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. That's crazy. I thought she was going to push her.
I did too. She walked right behind her. It absolutely was the perfect situation for her to be like, and push
But
her
like,
right.
that's how bad of a character this main character is that I thought she would possibly murder her new friend.
Yeah,
No,
and if
she
she
wouldn't have been
didn't push
murdered.
her, I thought she would try to convince her a little
You
harder
don't know
and be
that.
like, I'll catch you.
Right. Or I'll be at the bottom with the staff and make
I
sure
just
it's
don't know
okay.
why we didn't start small. Like she did at the end when she jumped out of her
A
house.
2-story window, which makes perfect sense.
not just been like, yeah, let's go to the top.
We went to City Hall and found the highest building in Blue Valley and tried to make it happen.
Yeah, maybe find just a little bit taller of a building and be like, let's test this out just a little bit more.
What an interesting description of a power, though. Always lands on his feet.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you land on your feet alive.
Can you imagine dying and then just sticking your feet to the ground? Like, yeah.
Or your knee just shoots through
Yeah.
or the bone sticking out. So this character is just Black Panther. Is that right? Is that what my understanding is?
But
I mean, yeah. the suit that just kind of forms to your body with these electric.
And the claws.
Yeah, and then when she lands the landing, then it's because of the suit is making her land the landing.
Right. You see the power go through her body as she's bouncing on the fence.
Yeah.
No, guys.
It's black. It's just
They
Black
wouldn't
Panther.
do that stuff.
I guess it depends which one came out first, but we won't get into all that. I like Courtney is like, you're already grounded and you have no phone. Like, what else could they possibly do to you? I'm like, whip her. They can whip her. Stop giving people
That's the
bad
life of
advice.
privilege she lived. Hold on a second. She's
It
never
is.
been whooped before.
It is, and it frustrates me.
She's like, what's the worst they can do? Yeah, no, beat the crap out of you.
like you're my child? Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, man.
Yeah. Courtney's a bad influence.
She's a terrible person.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the staff chose her.
But Starman didn't seem like he was he really was her dad. He didn't seem like that great of a guy, and his whole final words were, "It's not you, Pat. Like you're not it. It's not you, bro."
The staff has a type, and it's not good for it.
The real sucky thing is, so like this entire season is going to be all about her character development, like as a character and her morality and stuff. She'll become a better person at the end, but at what cost?
I mean, her recruit that she chose almost killed a man.
Right,
Yeah.
but she just learned. I mean, hold on a second. She put someone in a goddamn star coma
She did do that too. So I mean, they're meant for each other.
and blew up a car. I don't know. Like, there's a lot going on, and
Are they just the villains?
We shouldn't allow teenagers to. I don't know. I don't know if the comic books have this in this iteration, but this whole, it's not called Make America Great Again, but it's something like that. And like, is this a jab?
Maybe.
What is I don't remember what it's called now. Damn it.
That Yolanda was gonna kill her ex-boyfriend
Henry, yeah.
based off of association with Brainwave, not even knowing.
I assumed it was just because of the picture thing.
Yeah, that's what
I thought that was full drive.
Motion.
Oh, I was thinking that they're like, well, Brainwave, he's his son, so you should kill him. And also, he did this bad thing to you. So now we're at, like, this is how you become my friend, is you kill him.
Oh, no, I don't think. I think it was, like Cleve said, she's just an angry teenager that was like, yes, we're going to do this.
Hey, what did you guys think about the whole principal violin part? That was weird, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
that was
that's-
super weird.
She's got
And also, her name is kind of on the nose. Bowen?
Yeah.
Couldn't come up with anything a little
I
more
didn't even
clever.
catch that. That's funny.
As soon as they said, oh, it's Principal Bowen, I was like, are you kidding me?
Do you remember what the stupid plan was called?
So how'd you feel about, we spoke on it a little bit, when Yolanda was like, help me be the Yolanda Montez that I used to be. And they're like, you will never be the Yolanda Montez that you were.
They almost like, I'm not even going to get into, the parents were just shitty. That whole family was super shitty to her, except for the kid. The brother was like, hey, stop yelling at her.
Yeah. I liked him. The 2 scenes we got with him, I liked him.
Yeah. Because, I mean, kids F up. They make mistakes.
Yep.
It's not... my kid would have to do something a lot worse to be like, no, we're cool. We're done. And you have to think that this might be like the only mistake she's ever made in her entire life, because her life seemed pretty perfect.
Yeah, I do have to imagine that it's harder in that smaller city, because that word's got to spread fast that's what you did. And you could tell she's even self-conscious about it, because when the suit formed to her, she didn't like how tight it was. Yeah. And she went from dressing really nice and cute in the beginning to dressing in like big sweaters and hugging her books to her chest all the time.
Man. Her parents in the school gave her kind of a complex.
Oh, for sure. And then here comes Stargirl to save the day.
I mean, I feel like she's going to be a strong character, which is great, but she's doing it under the bad influence of a terrible character.
Can we just let Pat lead the team?
It's kind of sad that Pat wasn't really involved in this episode that much.
We didn't get much Pat, but I have to assume you can't cut Stargirl's time, and we need to make this time to develop Yolanda. So
it's called Project New America. Can't tell me that that's not like a Make America Great. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy that is like a pretty on the nose thing.
I just had some slight controversy for the last episode. So I'm curious on both of you guys' opinions. Cleve being someone who has read comics pretty much his whole life and also has a relative who does art. And then Stephanie, who is more of the artistic individual out of the three of us. So last episode, we remember the JSA Hall being revealed to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were banners from all the previous members.
Mm-hmm.
So those are pictures of people in costumes. However, they greatly resemble the artwork of Alex Ross, who is famously known for doing Kingdom Come, that art style. And he actually drew pictures that were almost identical to the costumes and people that they chose for these pictures. And so he was very angry and tweeted, "Why am I not getting credit for this? You obviously stole from my ideas to create these characters."
Right.
And the DC position or the CW position on this is people in costumes took pictures of them. It's not your art. Sorry, we don't really have to credit you for anything. In addition, it goes back to the whole Bill Finger thing, and that when you work as a comic book artist, for the most part, you're an artist for hire. Like, you're not ever actually an employee of DC.
Right.
You are just drawing for them, and they own anything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So he is basically on Twitter saying, "Why am I not getting credit for this?" And I was just curious what you guys' thought was.
I think it's shitty when it's very obvious. Like, because we've talked about, when we record and put stuff on, we are very cautious of what we could possibly get copywritten for. And, I mean, it's very clear, like, you need to change something. They could have just changed something. But if you're not going to, then I think that the credit is where it should be. But, I mean, if there's a guy dressed like Green Lantern at Six Flags, do you give him...
Six Flags pays for the ability to do that, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I'm sure that there's something between CW and DC, and that's why they're able to.
Because it is interesting to see how similar it looks. Because I didn't realize it was pictures of people. I genuinely just thought it was his artwork. And I mean, I don't know what the money implications are between it. So it could be that he wants money. Because we talked about this before. Again, when we talked about Bill Finger, is that, like, was his family seeking money? And it really didn't seem like it. They just kind of wanted his name on it.
Yeah,
and that's all Alex is wanting. Like,
respect what I do. Yeah,
what does it hurt CW to be like, at the very end of their stupid credits that nobody watches anyway, say characters inspired by Alex Ross?
Or when they in the very beginning credits, when it's like based on characters by DC Comics, like it could just be real quick right in there.
Yep, they just have to put like "and inspired by Alex Ross." I don't know.
I kind of feel like possibly they either A, don't give a shit, which is possible,
that is 100%.
Or B, came out with it and then they spoke up and they were like, "Oh shit," and are kind of just trying to stand their ground on the decision that they already made instead of rather apologizing for not doing it the right way. Neither way is right, but I mean, I also feel like what is there to do now?
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know. Go back and apologize.
Right, exactly.
That's all you can do.
Apologize, because like you said, I don't know if he wants money. I would, but
Well, right, and that's yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to: is he looking for monetary?
and I wouldn't even know because it's not our world what you would even get for that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why they didn't use his artwork. Maybe they purposely found the loophole of we're gonna dress people up, take their pictures, and put them on there.
And it gets done a lot, and a lot of these artists get screwed over. But I'd imagine that, like, when because Stephanie used to take, most of you guys don't know this, but Stephanie used to be a food blogger, and she took pictures of food and
For a
stuff.
second, yeah.
And I mean, you'd be pissed though if someone took your work and said, "This is mine."
Yeah, there have been times where, like, even when I see it done to other people, it's like, that's not yours, and you know it's not. And if it's just like this case, I'm looking up the pictures now, but if it's like this case where it's clearly from him, like, it's not a drawing, it's a picture, but it's clearly Alex Ross's work.
Yeah, he's very distinctive in his style. I know Cleese.
Yeah, this is.
That's why I brought that one up.
Yeah, this is not even trying to hide that they took the same poses, they took the same costumes.
That's what I think you draw the line, because you could have easily done different poses. You could have had a photo shoot. You had this guys standing there doing different things until you found one that worked. But for you to take a shot for shot, like, that's where I think it's weird.
Yeah, Dr. Fate is the only one that has a different pose.
Totally different, yeah.
But it's not far off.
Well, and at this point, CW is completely ignoring it. And actually what they've done is gone further into talking about those pictures and said, like, how excited he is for what's to come, in that he's hoping. Who is he? The writer for the show has gone on to say, like, I'm so excited if we can get multiple seasons. I'm looking at exploring all of these. These aren't just Easter eggs. Basically, that's what he said. These aren't just Easter eggs. This is path for us to take to go down and tell you stories of all these different characters who haven't been really told. So, like, I don't know, they're emphasizing even more on the pictures, and like, yeah, look at these pictures. Aren't they great? We're gonna tell these stories. I don't know, whatever. It just was an interesting, like we've talked about before, give them the credit. We did a whole episode on Bill Finger and giving him credit. Granted, his was more actually creating a character, but
yeah, I can see that they wouldn't give him money for it because they're not actually using his artwork, even though it'd be more interesting if they did. I wish they used his artwork.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. Well, maybe Clee's right, though. Maybe it was monetary and that they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, so if they didn't want to pay him, but the least they could have done was say inspired by, because these were clearly inspired by him. Well, there's not even a question.
I almost wonder what was cheaper. Was it cheaper to put people in costumes and take their pictures than it was to pay this guy?
Maybe. It depends on if
pay a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
Because then, I was going to say, because then how much does it cost to use his pictures?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Anyone who is selling their photos to CW, though, they'd be dumb to not sell them for a good price. But I imagine that Alex Ross is also not cheap.
Maybe that's how they make their money, their shows, and make their money. They cut these corners. One of them is not paying a respected comic book artist.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of places or businesses, I'll say, that they would like you to do so much work, but you have to do it for free because it's for exposure. You're like, exposure isn't paying my bills.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, some of them are pretty spot on. That's what I'm saying. You could have flipped the direction that they were looking. Like, do something else. Right.
No, I just thought it was interesting. Something I saw on Twitter, and I actually then tweeted it out too. And
are we ending this whole show? Are we boycotting it?
No.
Okay, just asking.
No, I just I mean, from a legality standpoint, they are fine. Yeah. They have no reason to have to pay him. They have no reason to have to credit him. Yeah. It is more of a courtesy of the profession, and as we've learned in many times, they don't respect their artists.
Yeah, if you took it to court, he'd lose, which is
right. Absolutely, that's why he took it to a court of public opinion instead, and that's why he went to Twitter and started complaining about it on Twitter. But I mean, anybody else I've asked so far, like at the comic book shop, all said the same thing: was that it sucks, but that's how DC is.
That's comic books,
right? Really. Which is just so shitty. But anyway.
Yeah. But you know what? I guess there's something in having the world know that A, it's him, and B, what they've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Interestingly, I didn't realize that they didn't give him credit because it looked familiar. Like the artwork looked really familiar. I just assumed that they would have given him credit. And in fairness, I don't watch or read the credits when they're happening.
Which goes to your point. They could have.
Right.
And not even direct credit. Like,
Yeah, that's what I said. Inspired would have literally
images
been
inspired by.
Yeah, like it would never even had to have been like co-created or you know, yeah, no,
executive produced.
Yeah, it literally just had to be artwork inspired by Alex Ross. And you know what? I'll bet he would have been pumped. I'll bet he would have been like, "You guys go check it out. Watch this."
Yeah, he would have pushed for the show.
Yeah,
might have gotten more people to watch it instead of just us three.
We are the only three watching it.
I believe that. All right, you ready for some of my random final notes?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Fire away.
These are random things that kind of took me out of the show, or little things that I've noticed. Nobody uses the letter U to text anymore. This is obviously an older person writing the script and don't know what kids do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird when Dr. what's his name? The other bad guy?
Ito?
Was like, "Can I have his body?"
I like that.
That was a real weird. And he was like, "Yeah."
Right.
And also, Icicle has his body? Did he freeze it somewhere?
It's a fair point because they had to go to the morgue. Interesting.
How did Courtney get a yearbook? Because she just moved there.
A library.
I guess. But she's like writing in it and stuff.
I mean, she's not the greatest character.
That's fair too. Yolanda, when she was crying and telling her story to Courtney about how everybody is treating her, there was like a snot bubble, and I thought that was really good acting.
I must have missed that part.
I thought that hospital windows don't open anymore.
That high up, I don't believe they do.
Because people jump and stuff. Like possibly Yolanda. I thought it was interesting that Yolanda couldn't take a picture of the list of visitors because her parents took her phone. So they might be villains also.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's a villain. If you're not a superhero, you're a villain.
I don't think everybody's a villain.
Her mom is about to be.
Can somebody get this girl a hair tie? Because when she was hiding from Henry and she was hanging from the roof, her hair was still dangling down. And I thought I would see that.
I also thought that if I was Henry in that situation and looked up, I would probably poop my pants.
That's true.
That is a terrifying image.
Maybe it was a conscious effort on his part to go, "Nope, didn't hear that," and just turn back around. Could
you imagine looking up and something's just like dark and like long hair just staring at you from the ceiling?
Ugh, no. I think Yolanda gave a really respectable denial to Courtney's offer, and I'm so glad that Courtney chose to completely not respect it whatsoever.
Yeah.
She was like, "Hey, I really want to fix me before I start doing anything else." And Courtney was like, "Nah, what if you put on this costume and run around the small city with me and look for people who want to kill us? Because I've almost died." This is the first episode she's not almost died.
And that's only because she had someone else with her.
Right. And then when they left Brainwave's room, when Yolanda was climbing the wall, is the worst. That everything else looked great except for that part. That part looked terrible.
She struggled.
It was like, you know those little sticky men that you throw against the wall and they like flap their arms and legs all the way down? It's what it looked like when she was climbing the wall. It was a real rough CGI moment. But that's it. That's my last random note. Michael usually asks me what I think about the effects, and everything else I loved except for that one moment was straight trash.
You know what? I enjoyed her climbing the wall up until she started doing it with ease. And at that point, it looked real just awful. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what are you going to do? It's a TV show, man. They're doing great for a TV show.
Well, because they cut corners by not, thanking artists.
Has this improved your desire to want to continue the show or decreased it?
Can we have a Wildcat show and it just be about Yolanda? I'm really invested.
We could have a JSA show and just remove her. Just Stargirl be removed.
Can we keep Stripe?
She's put someone in a coma.
And got another kid hit with a bus.
She did get another kid hit by.
The kid killed.
Actually, you know what? I think the bus driver did because, rule number 1 of being on ice is don't get out of the car.
That's fair.
You're safer in your car because you're going to get smashed by other cars sliding on the ice.
Hold on a second. It was like May. There should have just not been ice.
That's true.
How am I supposed to react to that if I'm a driver?
That's true. She could be a little confused.
And then she was
Also,
like,
are they in a place where there is ice ever?
uh,
Where are they at? Nevada? Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Blue something, Nebraska.
Blue
Like,
Valley.
Yeah, Blue Valley. I know that one. I just
Nebraska, yes. I believe Nebraska would get snow. I think it's north enough. Potentially.
I don't know. Someone should let us know in the comments if they're from Nebraska. 1, does that city actually exist, or is it like Metropolis? And 2, do you get snow?
I have to imagine it's like Metropolis. DC like really hates real actual locations.
I don't. It's so weird.
It could be based on a real place. Stephen King bases Derry off of a real place in Maine.
You didn't know that, Michael, but it's true.
I did know that. The town, it's Bangor, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It was nice city.
you would
Maine's
rather
pretty.
just a Wildcat show. Stephanie, do you feel that this episode has improved your desire to watch the show, decreased it, or just the same?
It's improved it because Stargirl is not the only one I'm watching now. Who
That's
is
fair.
A terrible character.
That's
like
fair.
she just seems to get worse.
At what point in time do we get rid of the brother?
I will take him over her.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm annoyed by him. He's useless, and he's disrespectful to Pat, who I assume is his biological dad. How are you that disrespectful to your own dad, who has obviously had to raise you by himself for a while? So you should be even more respectful.
It's that white privilege.
it's because he didn't get whooped.
It's on both sides of the family. It's on Courtney and Mike. Both poor parents.
And Pat also is very bad at controlling kids because he can't control Courtney for even 3 seconds.
Oh my God. She does everything she can to go off what she's supposed to do.
She is the worst.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought about this episode down in the comments below. We also have our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all Friendship Supreme. Twitter has no eyes in the word friendship because all eyes are on our YouTube channel, which is YouTube, and you just search Friendship Supreme. We also have our Patreon, patreon.com/Friendship Supreme, where we have tiers from 1 to 1 million, just depending on how well off you are during this time.
If Jeff Bezos is watching this, we know what you need to sign up for.
Can we get the artist on board?
Alex Ross, get him in.
I don't think he has $1 million.
I don't think so.
I mean,
We got more than-
well, if CW would pay him.
I just updated our Patreon so that the anybody that signs up for it doesn't get sales taxed.
Nice.
You have to update it by July 1st, otherwise anybody that signs up for it gets taxed. Don't worry, we're taking care of our people.
Also, check out our core podcast, which is Friendship Supreme. We have new episodes every Wednesday. We just recently had one about Adam Sandler. Check it out. Michael does the best impressions of Adam Sandler I've ever heard in my life. Adam Sandler and Company. I don't know what we count the monster guy, the Popeye's chicken guy.
Nah, he's a demon from hell. You
Anyway.
want me to do it again?
No, God, I'll just cut it. Anyway, I've been Cleve.
I'm Michael.
This is Stephanie.
And the lesson of the today is, anytime that you're out being superhero-ish, possibly don't call people by their first name.
Rule number 1. Why are you not calling her Wildcat?
Wildcat is WC on the CW.
I hate you.